Ladies and gentlemen, George Papadopoulos, Michael Flynn, both of them had nothing to do with any alleged hacking of the DNC, which the intelligence community says is only moderately to highly confident. They say that they're only moderately to highly confident even took place. Okay, they have nothing to do with any alleged Trump working with Russia fantasy, which Mueller couldn't find any evidence of. Nothing. Oh, here and there they found, the evidence was insufficient, but not sufficient to charge. Kind of like with Clinton. Although with Clinton, the evidence was not only sufficient, the issue of intent was absurd. Of course, she intentionally used servers outside of the United States government to hide her information. The fact that she transferred top-secret intelligence onto them, that is the major criminal act. And how she was able to do that is the big story. Never exonerated on either issue. But the Daily Beast has a really, really interesting article. Very, very well written. Great journalist. But let's just read this really quickly. Here's how dumb Bill Barr's great Mifsud, theory really is. Mifsud's deep connections with Putin's foreign policy establishment and his glaring appraisal of Russia's role in global affairs show Barr has barked up the wrong tree. Right then and there, there's no evidence. There's no evidence. If you were to use that kind of logic, then Bill and Hillary would have already been sent to the big house. That logic there's no evidence that Russia hacked the DNC and told Mifsud so he could then tell Papadopoulos. Papadopoulos was charged with lying to FBI agents. Flynn was charged with lying to FBI agents, or Peter Strzok. Those were process crimes, meant only to utilize the United States government in a way it's not supposed to be utilized. That, if anything, I write in the Federalist, the relevant statute is the 18 U.S. Code 371. The statute that Comey, Strzok, McCabe, Clapper, Brennan, all of them broke. The whole thing is absurd and nonsensical. Russia hacked the DNC to inform the country that Bernie Sanders was cheated, but didn't hack Clinton's private servers running for 4 years. With top secret and special access program intelligence that she ingeniously transferred onto. We have no idea how she was able to obtain the top secret intel. But here, his deep connections with Putin's foreign policy establishment, so what? What does that even mean? Who cares if he has deep connections with Putin's foreign policy establishment? Okay, and his glowing appraise, you know who also had deep connections with Putin? Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton met with Vladimir Putin at his home outside Moscow. So who cares? This is a fact. Bill Clinton also received $500,000 from Moscow, from a Kremlin bank a bank with ties to the Kremlin. Okay, Uranium One gave millions into the Clinton Foundation, and then miraculously President Obama failed to veto the sale. Democrats say there's no quid pro quo, there's no link. Well, then why'd the money go? Because they were altruistic, just like Boeing and UBS, and the 85 donors that gave $156 million to meet Clinton. Everyone's altruistic. Isn't that interesting? But okay, let's just read this here really quickly. Attorney General William Barr has been looking into the Maltese professor Joseph Mifsud. Well, here's the reason why. Mifsud, the FBI and Comey, Strzok, McCabe, Clapper, Brennan, none of them should have ever looked into, or none of them should have ever. None of them. First of all, Mifsud backtracked when he was asked by FBI agents in 2017. He backtracked his comments, saying that he told Papadopoulos about the DNC hack. Okay, number one. Number two, Alexander Downer informed the American intelligence services, or he informed a couple of them, or one of them, that he heard during a conversation with Papadopoulos that Mifsud told Papadopoulos this. That is not grounds to start an investigation or to get a FISA warrant. Simple. What if the tables were turned and a Clinton campaign aide met with an ambassador who then went to a Republican administration's intelligence agency saying that, well, this person, this Clinton campaign advisor, told me that he had or she had learned that the Republican National Committee was being infiltrated by China. So therefore, we have to use this along with the dossier purchased by Trump to investigate Clinton. That's the exact, the whole thing is so absurd. But see, because they are so scorned and mortified that they lost the election to Trump, they'll believe anything. But here, Attorney General William Barr has been looking into the Maltese Professor Joseph Mifsud's discussions with the Trump campaign advisor George Papadopoulos helped set off the FBI investigation of possible coordination between the Trump campaign and Russia in 2016. So they used gossip with no evidence at all, hearsay with absolutely no evidence at all, because where is Alexander Downer speaking to a congressional committee? Where is Joseph Mifsud speaking to a congressional committee? And even if they did, it's basic just gossip. In addition to, so they say, well, it wasn't just the Steele dossier purchased by Clinton. It was this conversation that Alexander Downer told us. Well, what? I mean, you would use conversations? Do you get fired from work because of a conversation? If someone went to your boss and said, so-and-so is doing something, do you then get fired tomorrow? No, you would sue in a heartbeat. You would say I was, unlawfully let go because somebody spread, wrote on a piece of paper I did something I didn't do. But anyway, it was Mifsud who told Papadopoulos about the dirt the Russians had on Hillary Clinton in the form of thousands of emails. What dirt? I thought that Clinton didn't. I thought that either Clinton didn't cheat Bernie Sanders. I thought that Clinton didn't cheat. I thought the DNC didn't cheat Bernie Sanders. Isn't that? Isn't that the story? Isn't that the story? Isn't the story that that Bernie Sanders was treated fair? It was completely fair. That there was no hack. I mean, there was a hack, but that he was just treated completely fairly by the DNC. So why would the emails be dirt? Why would the DNC emails be dirt? I want to know this. So obviously they cheated Bernie Sanders, and then Democrats and this hilarious scheme with journalists believing all this nonsense say that, well, Russia, because they were so afraid of Clinton. They were so afraid of Clinton, had to hack the DNC. Because the DNC emails were embarrassing, but at the same time, everything was above board. Basically, they're caught in their own lie. Okay, the DNC cheated Bernie Sanders to inoculate themselves from responsibility. They stated that the emails were dirt because it was just political. It's just the normal stuff that happens in politics, and that's it. But they really cheated Bernie. So they went from any semblance of responsibility to, well, it was a Russian plot that people found out. So it was Mifsud who told Papadopoulos about dirt the Russians had on Hillary Clinton in the form of thousands of emails. Okay, nobody knows if that's true. According to the Daily Caller and John Solomon at The Hill, Mifsud backtracked on that story. He backtracked, and he was also seen at the Capitol in 2017. So Mueller claimed Joseph Mifsud lied to the FBI about Papadopoulos' contacts, but he wasn't charged. This is the Daily Caller. And others, Chuck Ross, April 19, 2019. A special counsel's report alleged Joseph Mifsud made false statements to the FBI. So, regarding his interactions with George Papadopoulos, Mifsud was also reported to have lived for months at an apartment owned by Link Campus, a Roman university which has ties to Western intelligence. Papadopoulos pleaded guilty in the Mueller probe to lying to the FBI about his contacts with Mifsud, who has not faced charges. He didn't plead guilty to anything in the Steele dossier, which alleges this grandiose plot. So Mifsud already made false statements and admitted false statements to the FBI, but he wasn't charged. So then why would the FBI have started an investigation when one of the people already made false statements? The professor at the heart of all of this, who is said to have spoken to Papadopoulos about some kind of Trump campaign involvement or coordination with Russia, lied in the Mueller report, but yet he wasn't charged. Everyone else who lied was charged. Why wasn't Mifsud? Because the whole thing was a scam. The whole thing, they needed a pretext. That's it. Barr's interest in all of this is broader efforts to push efforts pushed obsessively by President Donald Trump in an effort to prove, at least in the mind of the public, that he was the victim of a plot in 2016 rather than the beneficiary of one. Trump's pressure on the recently elected government in Ukraine also promoted this line features in line features in the impeachment proceedings against him. So the issue here, but that has only led to the administration's support. Okay, so it goes on. Barr and his boys are operating on a different theory, that Mifsud was part of a setup by the CIA and FBI to smear Trump. Yeah, he was. Whether he was willingly or inadvertently part of a setup, he still was part of a setup. Why is that so difficult to understand by the Daily Beast or anyone else? Pursuing this theory, Barr even went abroad. Recently talked with Italian and British intelligence about Mifsud. Well, Mifsud already lied to FBI agents in the Mueller report. Mueller actually stated one of the key central figures in all of this is a liar. So then what's the problem? We have to find out the truth. But Mifsud's deep, long-standing connections with Russian President Vladimir Putin's foreign policy establishment and the highly favorable views he expressed publicly about Russia's role in global affairs, shows how far Barr has barked up the wrong tree. No, it doesn't. Who cares if he has favorable views expressed about Russia's role in global affairs? President Obama stated the Russians want the Cold War the 80s want their foreign policy back. Because Mitt Romney was the Russia hawk in 2012. So so who cares? You can have a favorable view of Russian foreign policy. It doesn't mean you are Russian, that you work for the Kremlin or you're an FSB agent or whatever. You are allowed to have those views, number one. Okay, that doesn't prove any connection to Putin. Number two, you're allowed to know people who are actually connected to Putin. Because guess what? If you go to any academic conference or any, European conference or organizational meeting or multinational meeting, you're going to meet people who are representatives or work in Russia or who are Russian, who are very wealthy or influential or academics, and they might have some connection to the Kremlin. So what? Then the article goes on to say, well, he knew numerous people who were well connected with Putin. So what? The same month, Mifsud had a long interview with the Zinoviev Club, a research arm of Russia Today. Who cares? Who cares? I've been on RT 10 times. You know who else was on RT all the 10 times? Democratic strategists. The people I debated. Are those Democratic strategists, were they paid by Putin? No. Neither was I. Nobody was. Because it's a media outlet. If you go on MSNBC, which I've been on, or if you go on CNN, which I've been on, do you get paid by Debbie Wasserman Schultz? No. So everyone agrees now. The Russian intervention. Okay, so everyone agrees. Anyway, so it goes on. Mifsud went on to lament that he had views that aligned with Putin on foreign policy. So what? Who cares? This whole article is basically ignoring the fact that Mifsud lied to the FBI during the Mueller probe. Also, Barr, when he went to Italy, spoke to Italian intelligence officials. Bill Barr went to Rome to hear a secret tape from Joseph Mifsud. Okay, so there you go. William Barr heard a secret tape of Joseph Mifsud who said Russia had dirt on Hillary Clinton. So what if someone said that Russia had dirt? What if somebody said that? Uranium One gave money into the Clinton Foundation to expedite the approval by the Obama administration of 20% of U.S. uranium capacity? Oh, that's right. Somebody did. William D. Campbell. He testified to numerous committees. Yet nobody cared. So again, you have William D. Campbell that they just disregard, and then you have this ridiculous. Then you have the whole thing's a bunch of Michigan. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right now.